A high court in Kenya has ruled that demonstrations called by the country's opposition are legal. In a ruling delivered this morning, the court asked police to provide security to protesters calling for the disbandment of the Electoral Commission. Police had earlier warned that they would be ruthless with those who take part in the protests. The opposition says the commission, as constituted now, cannot be trusted to carry out a free and fair election. Earlier, protesters in Kenya's western city of Kisumu barricaded roads with burning tires and stones. They say they demand that the country's electoral body be scrapped ahead of next year's elections. Kisumu and other towns in western Kenya have witnessed some of the worst violence. 3 people were killed in clashes in the region on May 23rd. Police have also clashed with protesters in Nairobi, where the opposition planned to hold rallies on Monday. Protesters carried banners branded with the slogan, "SABC must go." And for more on that story, we're now joined on the line by our correspondent, Sarah Kimani. Sarah, a very good afternoon to you. We hear that a high court in Kenya has indeed ruled that the demonstrations called by the country's opposition are indeed legal. What has been the response to the ruling? Have the protests subsided or gained momentum?
Well, the protests gained momentum this afternoon after that ruling. The opposition leader, Raila Odinga, led protesters in Nairobi into the city. They made a lap around the city through the main streets in the central business district. They made a brief stop outside the Electoral Commission offices, and then they went back to one of the main parks here, Uhuru Park, where Odinga has made an address saying they continue to demand for dialogue before they can stop the protest. And so he says the protest will continue.
Maybe, Sarah, give us some details as to why these protests are actually taking place.
Well, the protests are taking every Monday. The opposition has called for the protest ahead of elections, which will be held in August this year. The opposition says the reason for calling the protests is because they say the current electoral commission, as it is constituted, cannot be trusted to hold a free and fair election. However, according to the constitution, and the constitution provides for the removal of the electoral commission either through a tribunal after a petition has gone through parliament, or if the officers resign, if there is gross misconduct or if they are found to be bankrupt. And so a lot of people are saying that what court is doing, what the opposition is doing, is illegal. However, court says it has the power of the people and the backing of the people to also hold protests to forcefully force the electoral commissioners out of office.
But, sir, we've seen some scenes of violence during this protest. How are police keeping peace in the regions now?
Well, in Nairobi, the only place where we saw police was inside the Electoral Commission offices, because the Nairobi protests have come immediately after the court order. However, in Kisumu and other major towns where the protests took place earlier, we've witnessed a shooting, we witnessed a face-off between the protesters and police. And in fact, in Kisumu City, 2 people were reported to have been shot and killed. There's also been a lot of looting in Kisumu and destruction of property, which has gone on. In Nairobi, however, protesters were protecting businesses. Protesters were also beating up people who wanted to loot businesses. And when they reached the Electoral Commission offices, some of them formed a cordon around the offices to protect any damage of property or to protect it from people who may want to storm into the building.
Sarah, I know you touched on this a little bit at the beginning of the interview, but please elaborate further. Has the current government tried to hear out the people's concerns? What has been the intermediate action or response to the matter?
Well, President Kenyatta and his deputy, William Ruto, have all spoken, and they said that the Constitution must be followed in terms of the removal of the Electoral Commission. They're saying the Constitution is clear. Either send a petition to Parliament and put that through, or go to court and show that these people have committed crimes or they're corrupt or, they're bankrupt, and have them removed from office. He has ruled out dialogue, although the churches, the Islamic, the SUPKEM, that is a Muslim organization here, the main umbrella body representing Muslims, has spoken. Also, some civil society organizations have spoken, all of them saying that there is need for dialogue, and also saying that the Electoral Commission cannot be trusted to carry out a free and fair election as it is constituted.
But, Sarah, where do these rumors that the Electoral Commission cannot be trusted emanate from? Do they have any tangible evidence?
Well, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga is giving reports of the 2013 elections where he says there was gross violations of the law. He says that election was not free and fair, and he says that it was rigged from the word go. He's also talking about earlier claims that have come of procurement of electoral materials and electoral equipment, which he says has shown that the Electoral Commission cannot be trusted to still carry out a free election.
Thank you so much for that update. We'll keep you posted with those news. That is Sarah Kimani on the line to us from Nairobi, Kenya.